Good evening, Twin Towners. And welcome to the BRDC here at Silverstone. Who was here last time? I think I'm going to give up on the microphone because it's cutting out and cutting in already. So that's going to be very annoying, isn't it? So welcome indeed. My name's Ken Norman. In fact, the reason I'm here is that I've got a big gob. So when microphones pack up, I can carry on. For those of you who don't know me, big gob, and that was developed in the arts, which is very apposite this year. So I started off doing stage theatre. There I am in Romeo and Juliet. I've also done a bit of ballet in the past, bit of performance art. I've also had several outings on television. So notably, I have a speaking part in Top Gear, the one where Clarkson drives his Rolls Royce into the Lido at Chipping Norton. And some of you will remember I do have a passing resemblance to Harold Bishop from Neighbours, but it's my film work I want to discuss this evening because it is Twin Towns at the movies. So I'm delighted to announce, and this isn't known officially, but I am in the new Lara Croft movie as body double for Alicia Vikander. There we are. But in the year 2000, I was actually in Mean Machine. Is anybody taking a Mean Machine themed car this year to Twin Towns? No. No cars actually featured in Twin Towns, but there I am. I was Jason Statham's bodyguard, looking very fat. I actually went to the premiere of the film and didn't recognise myself. I thought, bugger, they've cut me out and inserted some 24-stone fat actor in. It was me. But I have a big gob, and we are indeed at the movies this year. So give me a shout if you've already got your car. Yay. And give me a shout if you've already named your car and chosen your film. Yay. Fantastic. Well, what we suggest is that you get on the website as quickly as possible and claim your film and claim your name, because the worst thing ever would be to have two brave farts on the grid as we leave Buckingham Palace, Blenheim Palace. Where are we leaving from this year? World Heritage Site, Blenheim Palace. So we've got any other team names that we want to share their name? We've got Brave Fart. Hey. Any other names? You're keeping them close to your chest. You don't want to give them up, do you? First things first, we really ought to thank Silverstone and the BRDC for welcoming us here this evening. So big thanks to Kerry and the team for organising that. We have two key sponsors this evening, Sega Highlight, who have Sega Hardlight, who've sponsored this evening, and Shaw Gibbs, who are sponsoring this evening's supper. So supper's on Shaw Gibbs. Hey. Other accountants are available. Give me a cheer if you're an accountant. Flipping heck, you wouldn't bring the brass neck to actually stand in a room of people and admit that. That's extraordinary, isn't it? But the accountants here will of course let you know that this is a game of counting. So the first statistics I have to share with you, this year we have 100 teams taking part in Twin Town. 100 teams. We've raised already £150,000 worth of sponsorship, which is extraordinary. And that's down to Brendan, so big hand to Brendan. But also, of course, the companies that have donated that, so thank you so much. There are a few little sponsorship packages to go, but the point about the sponsorship is it means that we can leave Blenheim Palace and actually know that every penny of registration goes to the charity Special Effect, that amazing charity that we're raising funds for this evening. Twin Town 2018 will have 12 awesome challenges, some of which you may recognise, many of which you won't. So there's some new challenges for 2018. We are leaving Blenheim Palace, that incredible World Heritage Site. In a difference to previous years, we're actually returning to Blenheim Palace as well. And the point is, as well, we're going straight from Blenheim Palace down to Folkestone to make sure we don't have that rush for the 4 o'clock ferries. And so if a coach with a load of school children breaks down, we can still arrive on time. So really sorry if you've only just made it here this evening. We will be revisiting Coire-en-Tournois, the racetrack down there, as recently seen on Top Gear. I don't know if anybody saw Top Gear and the 2 CVs just recently, but it's a brilliant track and they're very welcoming, so we can't wait to get back to Coire. And you'll be pleased to know that the Rue de Mer has been closed. We have got the closure for that, Rue de Metz rather, and we will be having the mother of all street parties again, so that'll be brilliant. Over the 3 Twin Towns, 2014, 2016, 2018, Special Effect stood to gain £750,000, which means that charity can continue to support and change the lives for the better of countless severely disabled people. So £750,000. I'm going to break it down for you. Year 1, we had 47 teams and we raised 130,000 quid. So that was just £2.5 grand per team. Last year, there were 82 teams. We raised £380,000. Woo! I think that's worth a woo. This year, there are 100 teams, and if we repeat the £4 grand average fundraising per team, we should be on for a massive 860,000. So 750,000, we spit at that really. So it really means that every pound that you raise as a team will be having an enormous impact on this charity and the lives of the people that they support. Very quickly, a couple of words from Sega. So big round of applause for Sega and Harinder Sangha, who's just going to tell us why they're involved.
Thank you all for coming today. We are really in awe of Special Effects, and it's a privilege to be part of this. We've done a few things with these guys. This is the first time we're participating in Twin Town. The guys are really excited. Please be kind to them. They may not be kind to you guys, but we'll see. But yeah, thank you, and enjoy yourselves.
Thank you. And now I'm going to ask him to deliver it from there because I think you're struggling to hear around the corner. So Father Nick Streeter, who officiated last 2018. Do you want the microphone? I think it might be all right just round the... You stand around the corner. You stand about there. You'll be all right.
Well, thank you, Brother Kenneth. Much appreciated.
Peace on you.
I'm honoured tonight to deliver this sermon. Twin Town, what is it? Somebody famously in this room said to me, it's got more characters than Disney. It's the difference, the serious side of it, it's just amazing. What you guys do, it changes lives. I mean, I'm a poor substitute for Dr. Mick, who can't make tonight, and the reason is that he was in America, and they got a World Global Award for the work that we do in Oxfordshire and across the country.
Wow.
The fact is, it's you guys who do that. Your fundraising, your awareness. We're never going to stop you in the street and ask you for a donation. We're never going to phone you up. But you want to dress up as a sumo wrestler or Sonic the Hedgehog and go around racetracks with a charity for you. We do things differently, and you are friends, and it means so much to us. So what's the money done? You guys put petrol in the Twin Town cars that go to hospices, homes, and also at the Twin Town Games Room in Oxfordshire. This afternoon there's a young man from Coventry, cerebral palsy, 15, he wanted to play a game for the first time. That happened. That happens because of you. So you should give yourselves a big round of applause. The difference you make is unbelievable. I'm going to say a few small thank yous here, if you don't mind. First of all, thanks to all the sponsors, a few of which have been persuaded by the power of Hobgoblin. That's a good thing. Sega sure gives. There's loads of them, but you know who you are, and you're on the website. Thank you for what you do. Secondly, the volunteers and support team. I was with Mr. Cross here in a pub when that first glimmer of the Twin Town idea came across, and the guy's amazing. You all know that his team, every single person is amazing. Abby, Michelle, Mr. Joe, all amazing. These guys do it on top of their day jobs, so it's important for them to know. They're absolute heroes. The more money that's supposed to make, some people wouldn't help. You guys make a huge difference, and I keep saying that, but it's so true. Lastly, the teams. The things you guys have done are amazing. One personal highlight from 2014, 2016 was Mr. O'Regan on a cycle dressed as a golfer. Billy gets himself. I've got it. That kind of thing sums up Special Effect and randomness. Brilliant. I'm just going to end with something that kind of, for me, signifies what Twin Town means, Twin Town community means. There's a 10-year-old girl who charity helps, and her motto is live, love, and have fun. That's what Twin Town and Special Effect mean to me personally. She's 10, so the other bit would be have a few beers when you get over there. So thank you from the bottom of the heart, and everybody at Special Effect. You know, you're heroes. Let's have a lot of fun. Drive safely. Just enjoy yourselves.
Is this actually working now? Yeah. Okay, here's the serious bit, because this is a safety briefing and some important messages coming up now. But let's share some stupid photographs first. So we do take health and safety very, very serious on this. And one of the things that really worries Dr. Mick as he sees 400 people charging for cars, jumping into cars and charging off around the M25, going for Folkestone, it is the propensity for an accident, the risk. So it's great that the charity gets a great wad of money. What they do not want to be associated with is a stupid accident. So the health and safety aspect of this challenge is so important. And I just introduced Paul. This is Brendan's dad, Paul Cross, who's in charge of health and safety for us. Any questions, anything you want to know about risk assessments, making this the safest it can be, just tap into Paul's knowledge there. So a couple of things you need to remember. This is a series of points-based challenges. Our points this year are Oscars because of the theme of the movies. So you'll be collecting Oscars as you go. So that's the first point. And somebody's already said it. It's not a rally. It's not a race. And I'm very proud. I came up with a hashtag, year one, it's not a race. And it's so important. We had a situation at Le Mans. I don't know if anybody remembers Le Mans, where Brendan was in the middle of the grid with a checkered flag, ready to, and somebody decided, no, they weren't going to wait for the flag, they were going to go. And poor old Brendan was left in the middle of the track as 47 cars rushed by him, the last one's doing about 50 miles an hour. It was genuinely quite frightening. So it is not a race, and we must get that mentality out of, I'm looking at a room full of alpha males, look at you. It's not a race. We will not countenance people charging off, racing down the motorway, racing for start lines to be the first off. It's just going to cock the weekend up if that happens. So rant over, just hold that thought. We will be referring to it. It's not a race. Series of points-based challenges. Hooray! Yeah, because this is not what we want to see. Yeah. Moving on. We've got 3 months to go, folks. That's all it is. Isn't that scary? Who can believe it's 2 years since the last one? The time... 2 years. What did I just say? 3? 2 months. 2 months. 2 years.
9 weeks.
It just feels like that to some of us because some of us haven't stopped. Make sure your car is legal and roadworthy, not just for the UK, but France. Paul showed me a picture of a car that was stopped just recently on the M1 in Thomas tank engine regalia with a barrel strapped to the front. No, it's got to be legal. It's got to be roadworthy. So if you're in any doubt, just ask, just check. LPG. Who's got an LPG car? Thank goodness for that, because we don't want that on the ferry. That gives us a real headache. So it's been in the instructions, but just in case you've not read the small print, if you're thinking about a car, don't get LPG. Must be insured, and insured on the basis that this is a charity event and there is some track circuits to be done as well. So very quickly, Focus. We got Nick Jones from Focus here. Is just going to say a few words about insurance.
Thank you. There's been a misconception that your normal policy will probably cover this event. highly unlikely. You must check the wording. For those that joined 2016, we arranged a special policy to cover well, this year we've done it from the Thursday to the Tuesday, which does include the track day. It does specify it's not a race, but the insurers are fully aware of what we're doing, what the options are around this event, and the fact that it's not a race. But they are allowing us to do it on the track. The danger being is that if you just do your normal road policy that some of you have got cars now, go out and run it around the track, you lose control. Obviously it's not a race, but you lose control and injure someone, you're probably likely to find your existing policy will not pick up the liability and you are going to be caned. In fact, in France you're probably going to be put in prison, but it can happen. I think last year, whilst it wasn't a race, a number of people in the procession, inverted commas, did like to go very fast and nearly lost it. So we do have a policy which we are going to ask Brendan through the Twin Town website to send out to everyone the link where they can actually sort of contact us. At the moment, I think we're just negotiating the final price, but it's going to be in the region of around about 300 quid for the long weekend. I know it sounds a lot, but it is covering a lot. It covers us on the continent, and it covers any authorised driver over 25, but will include younger ones, subject to agreement with the insurers. So please make sure if you are insured at the moment on your car, or you're getting a car, you're just going to add it to an existing policy or a company fleet policy, talk to your insurers, because if you explain exactly what you're going to be doing, mind you, some of you probably don't know what you're going to be doing. Explain to them what you're doing. Give them a link to the 2016 website. It's highly unlikely it's going to be covered. It's usually an exclusion. Check your certificate. It's usually an exclusion. So if you need any cover, we've set it up in conjunction with Brendan and Twin Town. And come and talk to me. Happy to help.
Is there a breakdown cover? Do we need
We haven't got a breakdown cover at the moment. Probably should do, given the type of vehicles that we're taking. I'm trying to work on it at the moment. Most of the breakdown people don't want to know. We did breakdown last year, 2 years ago.
We've got mechanics and
we have got mobile mechanics, as Brendan's just saying as well. Sorry? And a bus of shame.
That needs to be clear.
That's not for the night out. That's if you can't get back. Sorry?
We don't need to get breakdown.
It's up to you if you do. We are trying to look at it, trying to include it into a package, but we haven't been able to at the moment because they know what sort of cars we're taking. So yeah, if we do get it, we will let you know. Anything else? Good.
Thanks, Nick.
Okay.
Thank you to Nick. So you will be receiving a full itinerary, but here are some things that you just need to take into account. Obviously, check your tyres, pressures, and the condition of your tyres. Ensure that you have a spare wheel and a jack, because tired and emotional may or may not feature. Couldn't possibly say. Check your oil. I feel like a bit of a muppet saying all of this, but there's a few muppets out there. Check your oil, water, coolant, and your seat belts. Spare car keys. If you've got them, they're probably a good idea to bring along. We have had people lose their keys. We had people lose all sorts of things, to be honest. We had a journalist once who lost his notebook, and we auctioned it back to him. And that's the kind of thing that will happen if you lose stuff. Okay, the whole Twin Town thing. Those of you that have been involved before, it's like a big family. You'll make friends. You'll just have a great time, and it operates on this whole principle of being courteous to each other, supporting each other, and where necessary, helping each other. If you see somebody break down, don't just point out the window, laugh. Or if you do, go back and see if there's any way in which you can help out. You'll experience it, I'm sure. But this whole thing is propounded on that whole thing of it's a great family-friendly event. The essential guide I just mentioned, that will contain all the information. It will contain the information on the challenges. It will contain the information on the health and safety checks. And it is the essential guide. So keep an eye out for that. That will be posted out relatively shortly. We've still got a sponsorship. If anybody wants to sponsor the postage, because it's going to cost 500 quid to post that out. So there is a sponsorship package there. If you want to have we'll find a way of sticking your name on the envelopes if you can sponsor us there. Risk assessments, just mentioned those. They are on the website, available for download. So take a look at those. Take this seriously and make sure that is all checked off. Remember to bring your driver's license. That's a good idea. Your passport. Otherwise, you'll find yourself having to travel illegally in the back of a boot. Which may or may not have happened last year. Proof of ownership of the vehicle, not an essential, but we think it's a good idea. Proof of the insurance that you're going to buy from Focus, that'd be brilliant. A valid MOT certificate to prove it's roadworthy and what have you. Your headlamp, don't forget we'll be driving on the continent, so your headlamp deflectors and all the stuff that France want you to have as well. Spare bulbs, breathalyzer, high-vis jacket, just have a look at what again, the essential guide will contain all this information. Make sure you've got it. You're on your own, basically, if you get caught without this stuff, including your triangle. And you'll need about 20 euros for tolls as well. Beware, well, what can I say? We had a team a couple of years ago called Le Roses. And they'll love nothing better than to stop us, search us, and bang us up, especially post-Brexit, I'm sure. But they don't countenance radar detectors on GPS, whether that's in any form. €1,500 fine if you're caught with any of those. Drink driving, the limits are 50% of the UK, so you might want to have a designated driver. Don't get beard up the night before and then expect to go out on the roads the day after. Yes? Is that plus 50%? Plus 50%? 50? No, it's less. You can't drink as much, basically, as you can over here. The speed limits on the auto routes, 130k. Big signs for that, but if it's raining, that does drop to 110, so you've got to take that all into account. And using your phone at the wheel, it's a €130 fine, and not as lenient. And important one, drive on the right-hand side of the road. Or just the right side of the road would be good, really. Don't worry, we answer your question there. We do have mechanics. Destra sponsored our mechanics. So if you've which film's that? Little Miss Sunshine. Yeah. So that's my quiz over. First aiders are sponsored by Barron Bailey. Let's hear it for Barron Bailey. In fact, let's hear it for Destra, because the mechanics are really, really important. Those guys, they think they come for the fun. They work bloody hard, I tell you, the mechanics. Health and safety. Shore City are sponsoring our health and safety initiative. Let's hear it for Shore City. The aforementioned Neil on the bicycle, and Paul there, he's your man if you've got any health and safety questions. We do have a bus of shame. That does need sponsorship. 1,500 quid if you want to sponsor the bus of shame. If your car breaks down, you'll be going to everything in the bus of shame, basically. We nearly ran out of seats on the bus of shame last year. So we might, we'll find, the point is, if you break down, your weekend isn't over. We will get you around. You'll continue to eat. You'll continue to drink. You just won't have a car to go back home in. Marshals and Volunteers. Big cheer for the Marshals and Volunteers. So Marshals and Volunteers give up their bank holiday to come out with us. They pay for their own accommodation. They're there for fun as well. They do have fun, but they do work ruddy hard. And the thing that everybody says about the Twin Town Challenge is how well organised it is. Everybody knows where to go at the right times, and that's down and thanks to our volunteers. And they're sponsored by Playground Games. Let's hear it for Playground. And we've got a defibrillator at Abbeville at the circuit at Coire-en-Tournois. Yes, really. That's on standby, ready for Brendan, in case it's needed. And very finally then, it's a movies inspired. If you haven't already worked that out, we are movies inspired. You will pick up Oscars. That Essential Guide's coming out soon. Anybody stay out late for the Oscars? I stayed up late to watch the Oscars. Lasted about 2 o'clock, and then Mr. Oscar drew his bedroom curtains. So, but we have, let it sink in. One of your challenges is to come up with a quiz from a celebrity. So you find a celebrity and you get them to do a multiple choice question for you. About them would be good, or anything actually, as long as the answer's right. And I'll just point out that we've got Tim Harvey here this evening. So if anybody wants to pay some money to Special Effect, there's an opportunity to get that challenge in the bag this very evening for one team. Woo! Race and dosh, that would be really good. So set up a Just Giving page, and let us know how you're getting on with that. Take this to get some publicity. Crossing concessions, if you want to come but not bring a car, we do have some spaces available. So if family members want to come, we got a few spaces, so a few cars. API for Eurotunnel. I don't even know what I mean. What's API mean?
Advanced passenger information.
There you go, advanced passenger information for Eurotunnel. That's your team's responsibility to provide all the details about passengers and what have you. And in your bag, you got raffle tickets for those extraordinary prizes in there, so sell as many of them as you can. And have you heard about the Grand Ball, or Le Grand Bal, as we call it in France? That's happening at Heathrock Park on 7th of September. It's a celebration of, so we're not doing the cinema this year, because the cinema won't have room for us. 750 places we've got at Heathrock Park. Half sold already. Half sold already. So if you want a table at Le Grand Ball, get in quick, because they will go. They will go. So £75 a person, or £750 for a table of 10. Fantastic discount, that. For that, you'll get a welcome... It's for charity, after all. For that, you'll get a welcome drink, you'll get your 3-course dinner, and it says free entertainment, but who knows. That's it for the safety briefing. It's as onerous as that.